Hey there! If you didn't know, we are a board game loving family. We love to play, all 5 of us together. We love to play board games most evenings during these cold winter months. I want to share 6 board games that you can play with your family, including your first grader, that I think will be a lot of fun. Welcome to Joyful Noise Learning. Hey, I'm Ashley. Nice to meet you if we haven't met yet, but I'm glad you're here. Today's video is in collaboration with my good friend Katie over at Life in the Mundane. I love doing these types of videos with her. I know her family is also a huge board game family, and I would love to just play with them sometime. We need to get together somehow. But you want to go check out her video and her channel as well, with all the homeschool resources that she shares and biblical parenting. She is incredible. And then there's going to be a playlist for a few other channels who are joining us, sharing about some great board games. Okay, these are going to be in no particular order. My husband loves shopping for board games, and he's found a few new ones that we've been trying with the kids over the last couple months, and I think you guys will like them as well. All right, so let's get into it. The first one is Andor. I think that's how you say it. Andor, the family fantasy game. So it is a very light game. It's a great scenario game where you have to find certain things across the board. It's a co-op game, which means that you got to play together. There's about 4 characters that you can choose from, and they each have certain abilities that they can do to attack the orcs that are trying to attack you. And you're trying to make sure the dragon does not make it to the village in time. So there's a little bit of dice rolling, there's seeking and finding, and a little bit of strategy there. And it's just a fun, simple little scenario adventure game. My kiddos love it, and we knew that especially my 6-year-old was going to enjoy doing this. And he's asked us several times to continue to play this game over and over. But yeah, I recommend this one. The next one is, you might be familiar with Pandemic, but this is the mini version. It's called Hot Zone North America. Much quicker and simpler than the full-blown Pandemic game is. I actually prefer this one to the Pandemic game. So it's more my pace, and it makes it broken down a little bit simpler for kids to be able to play it. It does say ages 8 and up for this game, but our 6-year-old loves playing along with this one as well. See this? Look at that board. It's nice and tiny, tiny, tiny board. Not too big. If you're not familiar with Pandemic, interestingly, you're trying to work together to save the country from a pandemic and people getting infected. You have to move from one city to another. You have a few actions to be able to remove the virus, and you have to discover the antidote for the virus, and you're working together as a team to stop the virus. So yes. Oops. Next board game, which I had never heard of, but my husband came across it and thought it'd be fun to play in. He was correct. I actually really like this one. This is called Celestia. So again, I think it says ages 8 and up. We find that our 6-year-old is able to follow along with this pretty well. It's another kind of steampunk fantasy theme. Okay, so this one is not a work together kind of game, but you are trying to find loot. You're trying to make it as high as you can, and you're basically trying to see if you can get through a storm. And then there's cards that you pull out, and there's certain hard things that can happen to you and your crew. There can be birds, there can be a storm you can't see, there can be a lightning storm that strikes and then it knocks you off, and you have to start all the way over again on number 1. But it's really kind of a fun theme game where you're traveling through cities in the sky. But your goal is to get points, and the further along you go, the higher points you can gather. And our family has definitely had a lot of fun with this one. Don't forget, anything I've mentioned here in this video will be linked below, and you can check out those links for your convenience. Okay, the next one this is a big box, Sonar. If you've played Captain Sonar, this is a simpler version called Sonar. And they're basically the same game, but if you haven't heard of this one's really kind of fun. So you are in your ships, and you're on teams, and you're going against another team, and you each take turns calling out which direction you're going in your ship, or submarine, not ship, but in your submarine. And then you're trying to find the other team's submarine. You're on a grid, and you call if you go east or west, north or south, and you keep track of wherever you move. And then there's little things that happen where you can you can confuse the other team, or you can ask the other team where they are and you're trying to find them on the grid and trying to hunt them down. I've been really surprised. Our 6-year-old really does well at this game. He likes drawing with the dry erase markers on the grids and calling out the locations. So it's been really neat to teach him north, south, east, and west. Before I share the last board game I want to share with you for your family, I have 3 honorable mentions. These are not new board games. These we've had for a while, and maybe you've already heard of them, but we'll just really quickly go through this. Trash Pandas, for a while there, my 6-year-old was asking to play this every single day. And then the next one is Outfoxed. The kids do this one really well. This is definitely made for kids. I think it's ages 5 and up. Lastly is Santorini. We love this one as well. Fairly simple, and it takes place in ancient Greece, Greek mythology. So yeah, I just realized I'm gonna need to get B-roll of us playing all these games. Like, dang it. So we have some games to play through in the next couple weeks. All right, guys, I was gonna give you one more game and I had to change it last second because I was talking to my husband and he's like, oh yeah, what about this game? Duh, I had totally forgotten about it, but we're gonna tell you about Happy City. So Happy City is a newer game. We've only had a few months. And the awesome thing about this game is it's educational. It helps you with your math, which most board games really do help you with any kind of math anyway. But this one, you're trying to get points and you have to multiply, you know, your hearts times how many people you have in your city. Initially, if you have little ones, it might be kind of hard to explain. You can go a little bit slower, have them play with mom or dad on a team that you could do at first once they get it, and then they can try doing it themselves. And really, that's a good tip with any board game with family, with little kids. So they can play on a team with mom or dad. But once they feel like they got it and they want to try themselves, let them do it. It's great. Happy City is a lot of fun. They get to practice multiplication, so it's a card-based game. So yes, go get Happy City. If you haven't seen my video from last year where I talked about board games to play with your family that are fairly affordable, mostly I think, you can check out the video here from last year. And don't forget to check out the playlist and Katie's channel. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.